Hi there, I'm Nancy. Welcome to my kitchen. A lot of you know me because I've been to previous conferences. In fact, I was a keynote on, I guess, 3 or 4 conferences ago, and I've since done workshops on cooking with lavender. I'm always creating. All of the recipes for the art of cooking with lavender were created here, and I keep on. Some will be in my newsletter, which I hope you'll sign up for if you haven't already. I'm really excited because I just created a new recipe. I wanted a breakfast beverage, particularly coffee, that would have lavender in it, would be a little different. So I came up with something that I'm really pleased with called Lavender Spice Mocha Latte. Don't worry about the latte part. If you don't have a latte frother and you don't even care about lattes, it's okay. You can make the latte at home with no particular equipment. Let me get started. You start with a cup of coffee. Surprise. Now, this has just come off the carafe, so it's pretty warm. You would maybe need to heat it up because we're going to steep the ingredients in the microwave. Well, since it's a lavender latte, we're going to add in a teaspoon of lavender. I really like a big teaspoon of lavender. Because it's a mocha, that out of the way, since it's a mocha latte, we're going to add in a tablespoon of, I can use this, a tablespoon of cocoa powder. And be sure, the only thing you have to be sure just be sure that you don't use one that has sugar or milk or other products, plain old cocoa product, any brand you like. So what are the spices? Well, I really love, and if you haven't tried before, lavender and ginger are wonderful together. I really love lavender and ginger together. Now, I sliced a piece of ginger. If you don't know, you can keep fresh ginger root for a long time in the refrigerator if you put it in wine. It keeps it very, very well. A tip. I didn't even peel it because I scrubbed it before I put it in the jar. You could actually use a little more if you wanted, but that'll be fine. Now, you have your option. Let me go ahead and stir in the cocoa powder a bit. You have your option of using several different spices along with it. In fact, that's one of the secrets, and I'll talk about that while it's steeping. And I like to use, it's unusual and it's certainly optional, but I like to use something called cardamom. And it's in sense of potency, it's a little like cloves, but it doesn't really taste like cloves. Just like cinnamon doesn't taste like ginger or whatever. Anyway, it comes either in little pods. It's very expensive. The best thing to do is to get it at an Asian grocery store or Indian. It'll be much cheaper. You can get a goodly little package and it'll be fresher and cheaper. And you can do that. And the good idea, if you get them with the hulls on like this, is just to whack them with the back of a spoon. Or you can use, these are the seeds that are inside, and they're very potent, so I'm not going to add a whole lot. You put those in. Now, this is optional. Another option that I really like is, here it is, allspice. I think it's great. And I want the whole berries in this case because I don't want any residue in the bottom. You could use ground allspice, but it would have a little residue. So I'm just going to put a couple of those in. As you can see, this is not rocket science. So I'm just going to stick this in there until it starts steeping because you want to mingle. And then I'll talk about a little bit of, and I'm only going to put this one on for a minute because it's already hot, and then it will steep. My conclusion is, after working with many recipes and trying many things, is that lavender goes really well with what we would call the gingerbread spices. That would be particularly cinnamon and cloves and allspice and ginger. And so you can try whatever combination you really like. Speaking of the ginger, you may remember that several conferences ago, one of my beverages from the Art of Cooking with Lavender was the cocktail hour drink, and it was lavender, ginger, lime. That is a fantastic combination. There are also some savory combinations. For example, there's a recipe in there that has soy sauce and ginger, and it's a marinade for a savory dish. also a little garlic in there too. So that's done now, but I'm just going to let it steep a minute because what you don't want to have happen is for it to explode in the microwave. We don't want any problems. So we'll let it steep in there, and then I'll get the second part, which is the latte part, ready. We're only going to use, and I chose this because it's very sturdy. It can stand the heat of the microwave. Plus, if your milk foams up too much, it won't pop off over the top. So you have your choice. You can use 1 or 2% milk because you don't want extra fat. The extra fat will cause the milk not to foam up. And so be sure you check that. Now, I'm actually going to use an alternative because I like it. And also, it's a few less calories. Almond milk. And if you use almond milk, be sure that you use the unsweetened. So it's another, again, about a cup. Again, it doesn't have to be perfect. The good thing about this particular kind of canning jar is it actually has a little label. A little number, so you can tell how much your cup is. Okay, so I'm going to bring this back out. Now it's had time to sit, and I'm going to let it just steep a little more. And of course, you do have the option steeping longer if you like a really strong herbal spice flavor, and not so long if you like a mild flavor. Okay, so almond milk, frankly, does not fluff up quite as much as milk, but it's still a very nice foam, and I like the flavor too. I can't really tell much difference. So if you haven't tried almond milk, you might want to try it. Particularly, it's also good for vegans and people that are lactose intolerant too. So you don't need to shake too much when you're doing it for almond milk because it doesn't matter that much. Now this again, I know my microwave, and it'll take about 2 minutes for it to froth up. You're not trying to cook it. You're trying to bring it to steaming consistency. Okay, so while that's going, as I say, the concept of what lavender goes with. For example, start thinking about, everybody knows lemon and lavender. Everybody knows, well, I hope you all know, and honey and lavender. There are other combinations that you might not know. Thyme and oregano and lavender go together. It makes a great Mediterranean seasoning. You could try lavender with garlic and lemon zest. There's a chicken recipe in the book, roasted chicken. It's called a compound butter, and you can use that on popcorn. You can use it to butter bread, Italian bread, and you can also use it to roast this chicken. It's really, really very good. So this looks like it's just about ready. Another thing you can think about is using it in all kinds of desserts and cookies and cakes that have the gingerbread spice combination in them. Lavender will add another dimension that's really quite lovely, and you won't go, oh, lavender in there. You'll just go, oh, that gingerbread spice was really lovely. So those are just some things to think about. This is done, so let me go ahead and we'll finish it up. Oh, and by the way, be careful when you take it out of the microwave. This is pretty hot. So I'm going to use a towel. Let's use this instead to take it out. And depending on how long it's in there and how hot your microwave is, it will vary. So I'm being very careful here. Let's go ahead and finish up. Going to just strain the ingredients through a fine sieve, and all of you know now I should have actually stirred it up before I did that. I'm wasting a little cocoa powder, but you can remember not to do what I did, right? And then the best thing to do is just press down to get as much of the grape flavor as you can. Let me move this over and get it out of the way. Oh yes, and I have a sweet tooth, so I'm going to add in a little bit of sugar. And you will have to determine how much it is. I kind of know, so I'm not going to put that much in. You'll have to determine, because of course, once you add in your foaming milk mixture, it will change. Okay, let me hold it carefully, and I'm going to pour it in. You'll see there's a nice froth on the top. So there you go. I can promise you that it will be a great breakfast or snack or afternoon pickup beverage. This actually could serve two if you divided it in half, but I never do. And in fact, I make a big pot of coffee and keep it on the stove all day long. So there it is. Let me take a taste. It's all in the tasting. That is so good. I hope you'll enjoy it. Try it at home. Share it with other people. Bon appétit!